Steve Ream, how are you? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mr. Raynor. Good evening.
Very well. Evening. Should we start now or should we wait? Are you expecting more people on the call?
Okay, let me just quickly send a reminder because I already reminded them. I don't know if some people are on their way or whatever, but let me just drop a reminder.
Well, I am recording this, so what I'll do is I'll send you the link. So if you want to go ahead and get started, we can, and then they can watch the recording.
Okay, yeah, maybe we can start till we have others join.
All right, so you just want to wait for a minute?
Yeah, let's just wait for a couple of minutes, maybe like 5.
All right, no problem.
All right, just a moment. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah,
Hi.
most of you, your videos are turned off.
Hey. Sorry, you want us to be on video?
Yeah, I think it'll be good for us to meet ourselves, but if it's not convenient for anybody, but it's okay, and we'll like the background, the place to be quiet so we can hear ourselves.
Okay, noted. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just introduce Mr. Raynor to you guys. He's our partner for this teachers transition program for the US. His company is the one that is handling everything, which is going to be the whole essence of this is for the information session so that we can all ask questions and we hear directly from him. In case you have any question and I've not been able to answer or give you the proper explanation, I think he'll be able to do that. So apparently, what we expect from Mr. Raynor and what we expect from you people, he's going to carry us, is going to explain to us aside what I've put to you before. Maybe I'll just allow Mr. Raynor to hello. Please, if there is noise in your background, can you just mute your, your end so you don't interrupt the meeting, please? Okay, Mr. Raynor?
Yes, how are you?
Okay, yeah, I think I'll just let you just go on.
All right, no problem. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to make sure we have the recording.
I think it's recording already.
Yeah, it's recorded. Yeah, I just want to just one deal. All right. All right. My name is Ray Roberts. Just give you a little bit background. I am an educator. I've been in education for 22 years, almost 22 years now. In fact, I think next week makes 22 years of being an educator. Currently, I am in Saudi Arabia. I am a English lecturer at King Saud bin Abdulaziz University for Health Sciences. And I'm also the managing partner of the Academic Partnership. The Academic Partnership is an American consultancy. We've been operating since 2009 in the state of Maryland, but we're currently registered in the state of Delaware. The Transition and Beyond program is a program that we have already launched several regions throughout the world. And what it's designed to do is really help America out in this current teaching shortage. Currently, the United States is experiencing a major teacher shortage. In fact, there's a teacher shortage all throughout the world, but COVID has exacerbated that shortage, especially in America, because there's something that has been dubbed the Great Resignation. And during this Great Resignation, because of COVID, people have decided they were going to change careers or not do it or go into business for themselves. And unfortunately, a lot of those people have been teachers. And so that has led a major gap for schools all throughout the country. It's not any one particular region. We're seeing teaching at epidemic proportions. School will start here in the next couple of weeks in America, and some school districts are almost 1,000 teachers down in one school district, in school districts. Some school districts are resorting to hiring, reducing their hiring standards to fill gaps. So this is not something that is maybe a small problem. This is a major problem when school districts resort to reducing the qualifications for teachers just to get people in the classroom. So this is a real problem. About a year ago, I created this program called Transitions and Beyond to help foreign teachers or foreign nationals to come into America and teach. Oddly enough, or interesting enough rather, Florida is now looking to hire teachers abroad. So what we're going to do today is talk about how this works, because let me be upfront, it's not an easy thing, right? As we all know, not immigration, but getting a visa to America is pretty difficult. It's one of the most difficult countries to get to even get a tourist visa. So we're going to talk about how we're going to do this. If you follow these steps and if you follow the process and everything is good in your background, you should be fine because of the teaching shortage. The State Department understands that the country needs teachers. So the State Department is going to be very welcoming of qualified individuals who want to come to America to teach. The key word is going to be qualified, and that's going to be one of the obstacles that we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to share my screen with you. I have a brief, just simple presentation. It will not be long. Hopefully everyone can see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is just a recent article from the Washington Post about the teaching shortage. Notice they're using the word catastrophic, right? Because it's a really big deal that, especially because of COVID and the students were online, or some students didn't even go to school during COVID. So this is not a good thing that we have a teaching shortage or teacher shortage. But it's real, and this really gives people an opportunity who may have want to work in America to work in America. Now let's talk just briefly about the advantages of working in the United States. Well, as I told you, currently I am in Saudi Arabia, and I have hired and helped teachers gain employment all throughout the Middle East, mainly the Middle East, particularly Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, UAE. And as many of you may know, when you work in many countries abroad, there's a level of what some may see, based on your passport, you may deem it as unfair treatment. Meaning, as an American citizen, I will get paid in some cases 3, 4, 5 times more than someone who holds passports from other countries. And we're doing the same work. And sometimes you may be doing more work than me, and I still get paid more. And it's not right, but that's how it is in most countries. You get paid based on the cost of living in the country you're from. And if you're on the lower scale, that sucks. That's not a good thing. Well, in the United States, you get paid the same as per the pay scale listed. So you get paid the same as an American, as a local American, right? So there's no difference in the pay structure because you are Nigerian, or because you're Filipino, or because you are Indian. You get the same pay structure. There's complete transparency. Every school district has a publicly listed pay scale. And it's pretty straightforward. If you have X amount of years experience, depending on how they bring you in on your contract, and based on your qualifications, depending on the state, each state is a little bit different. For instance, if you have a master's degree and 5 years of experience, you get paid that on that pay scale of a teacher with 5 years experience and a master's degree. And again, the pay, you would notice if you do some research, and hopefully many of you have conducted your own research about teacher salaries and the advantages and disadvantages of teaching in America. But you may notice that maybe that New York teachers' salary is way higher than a teacher from maybe Georgia or Louisiana. And that's because of the cost of living. It's a lot more expensive to live in New York than it is to live in Georgia or Louisiana. So you may see a starting teacher may make $55,000 a year in New York, and in Louisiana it may be $30,000 a year. That's because of cost of living. Okay, so 30,000 is equivalent in Louisiana is equivalent to 55,000 in New York. That's just hypothetically speaking. I'm just speaking in hypothetical terms. So if you see the difference in pay, that's because of the cost of living. Teachers get paid based on the cost of living. Teachers also get paid based on where they're teaching. So if you're teaching in an affluent community that has a higher, because most of teachers' salaries in some cases are based on the taxpayer, the tax bracket of a community. So if you are teaching in an affluent community, you're gonna make more money because the people in that community, they may be more affluent than other school districts or other communities. So the pay will really be, your salary will be, you won't get paid based on your nationality, but you will get paid based on where you work. The district, the state, the district. You also will get paid based on your qualifications. If you have a bachelor's degree, master's degree, or PhD, and the number of years you teach. So for instance, when you fill out, and we're going to get to this later on in the presentation, when you fill out the certification, you're gonna fill out a verification form of any work teaching experience you have, and the school district may or may not use that as a part of your how they bring you in. So for instance, they may hire you as a first year teacher with a master's degree, or first year teachers with a bachelor's degree, or they may take your prior work experience based on the verification form and in your interview, and they may say, okay, you say you had 7 years teaching experience, we'll give you 4 years. So you come in at a 4-year pay scale, because each year you get a pay raise, incremental pay raise set by the government, because you're or set by the local government, which is another important point that I think is important to know. Please understand that America is very different than most countries, in that most countries, teaching is a federal or a national responsibility. Teaching, or education, is a national responsibility. In America, education is not a national responsibility, it's a state responsibility, okay? Because, you know, in our country, in America, state rights actually trump federal rights. So your state rights are, and then actually your local ordinances and laws actually trump even state, in some cases state and federal. And when I say trump, meaning they're more important, because that's how America has set up its system over its history, to make the local experience more valuable. And that's what a true democracy is, right? So America, we have made every attempt to exercise as close as a true democracy as possible, as close. So with that being said, that's how the pay scale would work. It would work based on your qualifications, your years of experience, and where you are teaching. We will, throughout this process, we will have many one-on-one conversations about every stage. So let's start talking about the stages of the process. Why does my watch say 6:21? It's interesting. The first stage. All right, the first thing that we would do is we would have a goal setting meeting. We would have a goal setting meeting. And the goal setting meeting, what I want to do is collect information from you, some basic information, and I want to look and review your transcript. So in the goal setting meeting, I want to know what type of teacher you want to be. You want to be an English teacher, you want to be a math teacher, you want to be a social studies teacher, what state, what city you think you might want to work in America. We'll just have a basic heart-to-heart, real conversation, honest conversation about goals and your expectations. Because ultimately what I want to do is meet everyone's wants, needs, and expectations. And if I can't meet those, or we think we can't meet those, we want to have a conversation about that. So we can be realistic in our approach. So in that initial goal setting meeting, I want to look at your transcript. It doesn't have to be your official transcript, the transcript you have, because what I want to do is I want to look at what you want and determine what you need. All right. So I want to look at what you want, and I want to determine what you need based on that transcript. All right. So that, please mute your mic, please. If you can mute your mic, that'd be great. All right. So after the goal setting meeting and we determine what you may need as far as your transcripts are concerned. By the way, we're going to base certification out of the state of Maryland, since I'm familiar with that state. And so based on the state of Maryland, the reason why we use Maryland, because Maryland has reciprocity with many other states. So we're going to look at your transcript, whether it's your official transcript or your unofficial transcript, and we're going to determine if there are any gaps, so you can start working on those gaps as far as classes you need to take. Like you might need to take a reading class if you want to be an English teacher, or you might need to take a educational psychology class or a child development class or something like this. Some of you may have all of those classes already in your transcript. So that's going to be a case-by-case situation, which is another point in order to make. Everyone's situation is going to be a little bit different. So don't base your situation on someone else's, because this is a very specific type of process, in that everyone goes through the same process, but everyone has different, will enter the process differently, because everyone's not coming in on the same level. You guys have different years of experience, different work background, professional background. You guys went to different universities. So everyone's situation is going to be a little bit different. So don't measure yourself against someone else, because you don't know that person's detailed situation. All right. Even if they're talking to you about it, you don't know their detailed situation. So you really need to kind of just focus on your individual situation and not measure yourself against someone else. Also in stage one, what we're going to do is, if you don't already have a official West evaluation or SpanTran evaluation, the state of Maryland takes both of those companies. We're going to make sure you get your SpanTran or your West. I do have a discounted link for SpanTran that you guys can utilize. So it reduced the price for you a little bit. And then in that evaluation, it will send, it'll be one of the documents you send to the state of Maryland so the state of Maryland can do their formal review of your application. What SpanTran and West will tell the state of Maryland is whether your degree is equivalent to an American degree, and whether the institution that you graduated from is equal to a regionally accredited school in America. Because there are two types of accreditation normally in America schools. There are national accreditation, which is a little bit easier for a school to obtain. And then there's something called regional accreditation. Typically, it's more advantageous for a person to go to a regionally accredited school, because regionally accredited schools tend to be more recognized than nationally accredited schools, especially when we talk about professions like teaching. So what West and SpanTran will show us is whether the school you graduated from is equal to a regionally accredited school, and also and then they will give us a evaluation of the classes you took. Also in stage one, we want to take we're going to do praxis preparation. Praxis is a test by ETS, or hosted, managed by ETS, and it determines, or it tests your teacher knowledge, your educator knowledge, based on the endorsement that you want. So if you want to be an English teacher or a math teacher or a social studies teacher, you would take the test outline specified by the state of Maryland. And I will walk you through which tests you have to take. So don't worry about that. I'm going to walk you through everything. So I will tell. So in the goal setting meeting, I will tell you, okay, you want to be an English teacher, you have to take these 2 tests. Now, those individuals who have equal to a 3.0, and that's another thing that Span, Tran, and West will tell us. If you have a 3.0 GPA or equivalent to a 3.0 GPA or higher, Span, Tran will indicate that when it's evaluation report, and you would only have to take the professional practice test. If your GPA is lower than 3.0 equivalent, then you have to take the basic core practice core test, which is reading, math, and writing, I believe. So we're hoping that everyone that's interested has a GPA higher or 3.0 or higher equivalency to America. So it'll save you a lot of money and save you a lot of heartache and time. All right. So in stage 1, I'm going to prepare you for those tests. I'm going to give you test preparation materials. ETS also gives you some practice tests when you register for the test. Okay. So we're going to spend some time making sure that you're ready to take that test. Okay. And then because you guys are in Nigeria, there's not a test location. So we have to do some things to work around it so you can take the test online. But we'll talk about that in the one-on-one meeting. Also in stage 1, we want to prepare you for the application. All right. We're going to try to be as proactive as possible. So we're going to prepare you for the Maryland certification application. And part of that preparation is, again, making sure that you get your official transcripts from your university. Has to be sealed. That you get that Span, Tran, or West does the evaluation. We got to get you a USA mailing address, a USA phone number, which I know how to do that for you. We want to make sure your practice scores are ready, passing practice scores. We need to get you an email. And this email you will only use for this process because I will have access to this email. Because basically I'm going to serve as your power of attorney because you're not American citizens. So I'm going to have you sign in the goal setting meeting. I'm going to have you sign a power of attorney letter, which gives me or my organization the authority to operate on your behalf. So I'm going to assign you an email, which will allow me to go into that email and do things for you. So we're going to ask you that you don't use that email for anything other than this process. And then also prepare your teacher verification form. I actually have one right here. And it's a basic form. It's not really a big deal. Well, we're in a presentation, but I have this is a basic form. You get your previous principal or HR or whoever can verify that you has teaching experience from it can be a public school or it could be a private school, as long as it's a approved teaching institution. Okay. And what that does is while you're practicing for the practice, I'm gaining all that information, preparing for the process, because stage 1 is the hardest stage because of the praxis, right? And the review and the reviewing. Okay. Then stage 2, we just need you to pass the practice. Okay. All right. Now, you should be able to pass the practice if you study and if you prepare. If you don't prepare, you don't follow my advice and join in on the sessions I'm going to give you, then you're probably not going to pass the test. But if you prepare yourself well, you should be fine. That's right. I would say you need at least a good 45 days to prepare yourself. If you're super smart, you might need just 30 days, a month. So we want to pass the praxis test. Now you could take the test as many times as you need. However, understand that if you take the test, if you fail the test, you have to pay more money to take the test again. So we really want you to only have to pay one time to pass this test, you know. All right. All right, stage 3. Once you pass the praxis, we have your West, you have your West evaluation. And we have some other documents for you, your work verification form, all the stuff that we need. We're going to go into the portal and upload your information and submit it to the Maryland Credentialing Agency, which is the Maryland State Department of Education. They typically take about a month to evaluate everything and then give you a response. The response could be you pass and you're approved and you get your teaching license right over the portal, or they may say you need to take this class or that class. My job is to make sure on the first go around that everything is ready, that because I know all the courses that need to be taken based on the endorsement. Okay, so my job is I'm not going to upload you or move you to stage 3 unless I know all your documentation looks good. Okay, because I just don't want to waste your time. So I won't move you to stage 3 and upload the documents and submit the application unless I know you're ready to go and that you're more than likely going to be approved. I can't guarantee you that you're going to be approved, but I'm going to put you in a situation that you're going to win. All right. Some people, the Maryland department, when they finally evaluate everything, they may say you need to take an additional course because they might not like the course that you have taken, or you may not have taken that course. But again, I'm gonna do my best to make sure we have you 100% prepared, but you never know, especially because, the person, the evaluator may see a course differently, especially because it's coming from a foreign school. Okay, so that's stage 3. After stage 3, then this is where we're really rocking and rolling now. We're gonna have another meeting, and it's gonna be a preference meeting. And in this meeting, this is where I'm gonna really ask you what city you want to work in, what state, if you have family in the United States, if you have friends. At that point in time, I probably would have already spoken to you a couple of times, so I kind of will know your personality. So like if you say, oh, I want to work in New York City, and then you have like a shy personality, then I'm gonna be like, I don't think New York City's for you. So I'm gonna give you some real concentration on and some advice on where you want to go. Ultimately, if you say no, I don't care, I want to work in New York City, then and you don't want to follow my advice, everyone's an adult here. So we will try to get you where you want to go. Also keep in mind that you may not get hired on where you want to go also. So we want to also keep our options open, look at different school districts, different states, different cities. But again, because of the teaching shortage, unless that particular school district doesn't want to hire foreign nationals, which will not be the case in most cases, you're going to pretty much have a wide selection of cities and school districts that you can go to. Okay. However, I'm not going to guarantee anyone a job because ultimately I'm not going to be the one sitting in that interview in that Zoom interview or whatever, whatever virtual platform they use. So if you bolo the interview, if you do poorly on the interview, that's going to be on you ultimately. Okay. But what I will do is give you some interview preparation. Make sure that you show you how to conduct or how to respond to questions, because Americans expect certain behavior during an interview and they expect certain types of responses. So we will go over that. So we will practice. We're going to walk you through that. Okay. And then you interview, you get the offer letter from the school district. And then we move on to step 5, the final step. And that's preparing you for visa. We're going to do another visa meeting. At this point, this is when Mr. Ibrahim will probably be more involved, but we'll do another visa meeting. I'm going to give you some advice, and one piece of advice I can give you right now to start preparing for that visa meeting is I would suggest that everyone who's seriously interested and you truly believe and confident that you're going to get to step 5, I would ask that you start to travel now. Especially if you don't have a strong travel history, start to travel now. Go to a neighboring country, all right, and do well there. Don't overstay the visa. Don't get into any trouble, because you want to show when you sit in front of that immigration officer, you want to show that you have been outside of your country and that you've done everything that you were supposed to do. You came back home, you returned, that you have you have some type of travel history, and that you're not just coming to America to overstay your visa or violate the laws. Because please remember that America, we do have an immigration crisis too, where people are coming into the country illegally and deceptively. So immigration officers are they're really good at their job. So we want to make sure all our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed. And then the final thing is to buy that ticket, go to America, and start your new life in America. Also, the visa that you would be applying for is the H-1B visa. And if you do have family, like a spouse, children, they can, under that H-1B visa, you can bring your family under the 4H. So you get the H-1B visa first, and then after you get the H-1B, you get you can basically that 4H visa is kind of automatic. Now, it has to be your dependents, right? So you can't bring your cousins, you can't bring your next door neighbor, you can't bring your best friend, okay? You can't bring your girlfriend. So you can bring your spouse and your dependent children, or anyone that's legally a dependent of yours. All right, I've said a lot. Mr. Ibrahim, I think now I'm going to open the floor to any questions that folks may have. Are there any questions? Don't be shy.
Yeah, hello, everyone. Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, like, I don't know if we all we've been following what he has said. Apparently, you have a major responsibility, which are to, number 1, pass your praxis, and number 2, pass your interview. It's like the job opportunity you have in any other part of the world, you must be able to pass your interview. And it shouldn't be a big deal passing the interview if we follow the instructions that will be given to us, and so it's not like they'll know that it's not just when you pass your praxis, automatically you travel. No, And there's something he said before now in our previous meeting. You should be sure that before you go further with this program, that you do not have any criminal record anywhere. You've not overstayed your visa already in any country before now, because they'll always find out. But if you don't have any criminal record, any issue with the State Department, I think you'll be fine. So if there is anything that he has said that is not clear to anybody here, I think I'll allow you ask the questions so that he can answer them.
Come on, I know you guys got questions. I said a lot of stuff. I'm not that good. Don't be shy. You guys want to be teachers. I'm expecting some questions. Grill me.
No question.
You guys want to fly 10,000 miles, move to another country and there's no questions? Gotta be some questions. Israel. Mr. Israel. Can you hear me? Israel? What's your question? I'm trying to read it in the chat. The issues around change of name. So is your question about changing, you have a name change? I'm assuming your question, okay. So so if you have it, as long as your name change is official and it's officially in your passport, you have all the documentation, and there's no insidious reason why you change your name, you should be fine. As long as you have the documentation, it's in the new name is in your passport. And again, there's no insidious reason. Don't be surprised if the immigration officer asked you why you changed your name. You should have a response for that. Yeah, for religious reasons, that shouldn't be a problem. I'm assuming your microphone is not working, because I would love to talk to you guys voice to voice here.
Okay, maybe let me call out your names one after the other. For those I can pick their name from under the participants and ask, so you can answer. Okay, Israel, who've spoken to, who is ZIA?
Okay, then Zainab.
Okay, you have any question?
Okay, I can use my voice, right? Or do I have to type?
No, this voice is fine.
Okay, I would like to ask some few questions. First,
Okay.
what's your success rate regarding this?
I'm sorry, I missed the question regarding.
Okay.
Could you repeat the question again?
I asked, what is your success rate regarding this?
All right, so the success rate is actually pretty strong for people who are serious. So in the past, we have got people I call them tire kickers, and also people who are they have an education background. They've taken education courses. So if you have an education background, you've taken education courses, you're going to be pretty successful. People who may not have education courses, then there may be a confident issues or efficacy issue. But the reality is if you follow everything that I'm telling you, and if take the consultation to heart and clearly, you should be able to do this relatively easily. The main hurdle, in my opinion, will be the praxis. Because you got to do some studying for it. Everything else is just procedural, right?
Okay, I would like to ask one more question. Yeah. How are we going to know the course that is in demand?
How are we going to know
the course that is in demand?
I'm missing the last part.
I'm asking, how are we going to know the course that is in demand in that particular state or region? Like, for instance, Maryland. Mm-hmm. And we have people who specialize in English language teaching, commerce, math, and some other courses. So I'm asking, how are we going to know the one that is in demand in a particular state?
Right now, the shortages are so catastrophic, as that article adjective that article used, that it really, I mean, if you're an English teacher, math teacher, science, I mean, these districts all throughout the country need all types of teachers. So I wouldn't be worried about that.
Okay, there was a particular test you were talking about, and I didn't get that. You said ETS. What's the meaning of that, please?
ETS is ETS is the company that manages Praxis, the Praxis test.
Okay.
I think it's the largest test company in the world, because they do TOEFL, GRE. So I think it's the most profitable test company in the world.
Okay. One more question. Yes. You talk about the praxis. So I would like to know, what's the cutoff mark for the praxis?
What is the last part again? What's the
cutoff mark?
So each state is a little bit different. And when we do the one-on-ones, I will tell you what score you need, because each state has different scores. Oh, actually, we're going to go by Maryland. So it depends on going by Maryland. It depends on what endorsement you want. So if you're going to be an English teacher, there's different tests that you have to take and different scores for each test. Like, for instance, if you want to do secondary English, there's 2 tests that you would have to take. Okay, and each test there scores that you need. So I will explain that in the one-on-ones.
Okay. You talked about Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. So are we just restricted to Maryland? Because I got a bit confused. No. There was a time you said after the meeting process, you'll be able to evaluate based on individual personality to know the different state or city who would like to reside or work in. Right. But then at the same time, you've just been mentioning Maryland. Right. So
let me explain that. And I kind of explained that in the beginning. The United States, there's no federal teaching license. There is a national license, but it's for like super teachers. It's very hard to get. But on a normal, most teachers have state licenses, because the federal government does not issue teaching licenses. All right. In fact, in order to get a national license, you have to first have a state license, I believe. That may not be correct, but any event, national license, sure, is very difficult to get. Education is a state responsibility. That means states primarily issue the license, teaching licenses. Now, we're going through Maryland because it doesn't make sense to go through 10 different licensure. It'd be very difficult to manage. The reason why I picked Maryland is because I'm familiar with Maryland. Maryland is my home state, number one. And number two, Maryland School District is one of the best school districts in America. And so they have reciprocity with other school districts. And what reciprocity is many other school districts will take Maryland's license, right? So if you have a Maryland license and you wanted to teach in Florida, Florida will take Maryland's license.
Oh, okay.
So Maryland has reciprocity with a lot of states. Maybe not all the states. And again, because of the teaching shortage, you know, states are not going to be very picky. They see you with a Maryland license, they're probably going to take you. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
One more last question.
Okay.
What's the total time frame for the whole process?
So what we have seen, I've seen people go through this process in 3 months, which I think is extremely fast. But these are people who already have everything together, right? But I think realistically, I think the range I gave Mr. Ibrahim initially was about 8 months. I think 8 months is a realistic time frame. Some people will be able to do it in under 8 months, but I think eight months is a realistic time frame, given you got to get the evaluations from both West and Spantran. You have to get the evaluation from the state of Maryland. You have to, it may take some time for things to go in the mill. So given all of these holidays and things like this, I think 8 months is realistic. Some people may take longer. Some people may need to take courses. Okay. So that's why I said earlier, everyone's situation is a little bit different. Okay. But I think 8 months is a good projection.
Okay,
good time.
thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Barrow?
Yeah, hello. Okay, can you
How
hear
are
me? I'm fine, good evening. I want to say thank you very much for the class. I've learned a lot, but I have few questions that I need to be clarified.
Okay.
Though some of them she asked about some of the questions that I jotted down over here. And one of them is for those that are married, like you said something about the visa, the HIB visa, right? You can apply for it with your spouse and all that. Then what if you've not changed your name to your spouse name? Can you hear me?
I'm listening, yeah.
Okay, what if you've not done a change of name to your husband's name? Is that visa possible?
Yeah, it's possible as long as you have proof that you're married. You just need to have the proper documentation based on the U.S. State Department, right?
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't in America. A lot of women don't change their name. You know, women are very liberated in America, so a lot of women don't take their husband's name anymore. Shameful. But but America, a lot of women don't take their husband's name. So it's not a really big deal as long as your passport and whatever the State Department asks for, the documentation, you have the marriage license and all that good stuff, you're fine.
Okay, and you mentioned something about our GPA for the evaluation. Is it the ETS evaluation to test our knowledge and based on the subjects that we're going to teach? You said something about that. Then you made reference to if you have a 3.0 GPA, you would only have to take the professional exams. You won't have to take the other exams.
Right.
Okay.
So the state of Maryland, the praxis test, there's a core test. Okay. The core tests are basic math, English, and writing. Okay. However, if you have a 3.0 GPA or the equivalent to a 3.0 GPA, you do not have to take those classes. Right. And that could be in your undergrad or your grad if you have a master's. Okay. So you don't have to take those tests. You just take your professional test. If you have under a 3.0 GPA in your last degree, then you have to take those core exams. So I think initially, Mr. Ibrahim and I suggested that we would only take people who have a 3.0 GPA. I don't know what you still feel about that, Mr. Ibrahim. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we decided we were going to put it open for those that are teaching already and are interested in it. They should be able to make the decision for them to take the core to be able to meet up with a 3.0 to be on the same level. So it's just that if you don't have a 3.0 GPA, it's going to cost you $160 extra.
No, more than that. But it's cost you almost $500 more because it's 3 tests.
No. I mean just the core test. The core test alone.
Yeah. So the professional test, the core test would be the ones that you don't have to take if you have a 3.0.
Yeah, and that's that costs like how much again?
It's like I believe it's like 100, and I gotta go back and look. I believe it's like 100 per test.
Yeah. So
It might be a little bit cheaper. So it's advantageous for people to have a 3.0 or higher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Secondly, Mr. Raynor, in Nigeria here, aside the universities, we also have the polytechnics and the higher institutions. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah. We also need to know, because some of the candidates here have a HND, a higher national diploma, which is a 4 years course already. It's a technical college. Now, we also need to know from Spantra if they do those evaluations for polytechnics.
Oh, so this is my mistake. That's what I knew. I knew I didn't do something this week, and that's what I was supposed to do. I need to take that list. I did not take that list and verify it with Spantran. I will do that. I promise I will do that tomorrow. That's the one thing that slipped my mind. I knew it was something, but that slipped my mind. I need to take that list that you gave me and verify that those schools, that because what we really want is to make sure that on the report that Spantran or West will see them as regionally accredited, the equivalent of regionally accredited schools.
Yeah.
Let me, I will take that list. My apologies. I dropped the ball on that one. Let me take that list and run it by my my account manager with Spantran.
Okay. So
I think Sparrow had more questions. Sparrow, did you have more questions?
Yeah, sure. I do have more questions. Okay. For the you made mention of something that when you pass the exams, giving some practices a test for us to learn. Then we'll get our transcript from our various schools. Then you said then later on you said something like you're going to get us a US phone number and address from Maryland, something like that. I didn't actually get it. Do we need that before we get
no, I was just sharing with you. That's a part of putting you into the system, into the certification application. So they want you to have a American address. I will work on that for you. Don't worry about that. That's a part of what I do. All right. What I was sharing with you is I'm going to issue an email, and I only want you guys, when I issue an email, and I'll tell you this in the one-on-ones, that the email should only be used for this process, nothing else, because I'm going to have the password to that email, so I can represent you, know when certain things are coming in. So for instance, when Maryland sends any notifications, I can be aware of that and I can address it. All right. That's all I'm just sharing with you, that all the things that I have to do in that stage 1 process.
Okay. Okay, then you said we're going to take some classes, reading classes, psychology classes and all that. Is it in the first stage? And
No, yeah, so depending on your transcript, right?
okay, okay.
Some people may have all the requirements already and some people don't. That's the reason why we're doing the one-on-ones. So I can look at your transcript, because what I'm trying to do is be as proactive as possible. I don't want to wait 3 months or 4 months for Maryland to say, oh, by the way, you need to take human development, or you need to take a reading class, or you need to take a math class. So I want to be ahead of that. So if I know in advance, which I would know because I can look at your transcript and tell, I could say, Sparrow, you need to take this class. And then you might want to take that class in Nigeria, or, however, but we will talk about that. A lot of this process will be personalized, right? So Sparrow's situation is going to be it's probably going to be a lot different than Zia's situation, than Israel's situation, than Margarita's situation. Everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different, all right? Because everyone has a different experience and backgrounds.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. I think for now, that's all. Thank you very much.
No problem. Zia, you have another question?
Yes, I do. Okay, you talked about travel history, having a travel history, how that is going to give you a better opportunity or chance during the interview process.
Not doing the process, doing the visa process.
Okay, yeah, the visa process. Okay. Just to be realistic, a lot of us, okay, let me talk for myself. I've not traveled anywhere. My passport is the Virgin passport. And to be sincere, I do not have the resources to travel to any neighboring country at the moment, especially with this project in front of me. So is it that we don't have chance, or our chances are less?
No, because you're going in as a teacher, and at that point, when you go in front of that visa officer, you're going to have, you would have your American teaching license. That's going to be a huge plus. That's going to show the immigration officer that you're extremely serious, that you did all this hard work to get your American teaching license and you're not American, and that you got an offer letter from a school district, right? A government school district. Knowing that that immigration officer knows that the country has a major teaching shortage. It's going to be very hard for them to deny that visa, unless, of course, like Mr. Ibrahim said, you have something in your background that will cause them to do that. So it's very important that you're transparent. What I was saying is, if you have the opportunity to travel and get some, that's it. That's just a plus, right?
Okay.
Okay. There's a lot of people who go to America with Virgin passports. Okay, especially on work visa.
Okay, let me, Zia, let me add to that. I have actually never heard of anybody that has an offer letter that has been denied entry into any country before.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah. Ultimately, once you have an offer letter, if you want to go to Canada, UK, US, it's almost like express. But in as much as you have the offer letter, you will still meet the immigration officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what everybody know. I'm kind of a worst case scenario type of person, so I like to cover everything, right? I like to cover everything. So because I know the seriousness of this for people.
Okay. I think this will be my last question.
Okay.
How long is the visa valid for? It's a change visa.
I'm not sure that. I think that's going to be based on the United States State Department. But normally what has happened from my experience is, they give you an expiration date, but you can renew it and then to a certain point. But again, I've seen people get 5 years. I've seen people get 10 years. It really depends on the situation and the politics and treaties, and there's a lot that goes involved with that. So I can't intelligently answer that question. But I have had many friends in the States who work from abroad, and they, as long as they showed up to work and they followed the laws, they stayed in the States for a very, very long time, legally.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think that will be hard then. Thank
And
you.
also, I would say this, that coming in as a teacher is a great pathway for citizenship. I'm not gonna, I would advise you not to mention that in your visa interview, anything about citizenship, but know in the back of your head that coming in as a teacher is a great pathway for citizenship.
Okay.
If in
All right,
fact,
that'll be all.
that's something that you were interested in. Zia? Zia?
Yes, please.
Yes, you have a question?
No, I think that'll be all. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Ibrahim, I think you were saying something.
Okay. No. I just added to what you said.
Okay. So
we have okay. Margareta? Margareta, any question? Hello?
Are you talking to me?
No, I was actually talking to Margareta if she's got any question.
she says no questions.
Okay, Rahima?
Hello.
Any question?
No, I don't have any question. Thank you.
Okay, Zoom user. Who is the Zoom user?
I guess that would be me, Emma.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I don't really have questions, but I would want to plead that we get this recording because I couldn't join in very early, so I missed out on a lot of things.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. I'll share the link. I will share the link with you guys shortly.
All right, thank you.
No worries.
Okay. Let me just add to most of the things that Mr. Raynor have said. I know, Sparrow, you were talking about I know you asked a question about the U.S. address and phone number earlier. Now, this
Yes,
praxis,
I did.
good. The praxis, not all the states allows you to take this thing online. Now, what Mr. Raynor was saying about the PO box and all of that is just, giving you an insight of the things it's supposed to be like an entire process. Because even when it's time to write the praxis, we're actually going to make sure everybody do it on via VPN for you to be able to access that. So I'm going to be discussing with us. Maybe we'll choose just Abuja as the center so that I can set up the system. We'll choose a date for the candidates to come and do that. Sorry, no.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm correct.
Yeah, hopefully, I mean, we'll talk about that offline, but, yeah, it'd be perfect if that's the case, then it's sailing from there. Be very
All right.
convenient.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I got no questions.
Well, if that's it, I will save this link and I'll send it to Mr. Ibrahim, and he can distribute it amongst the group. Any questions you can forward to Mr. Ibrahim and I will answer. My next step, my to-do is to take that list and verify the schools that are regionally accredited, that have the equivalency of regional accreditation. And I'll get that list over to you tomorrow evening.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for your time. I appreciate it. I'm excited. Tell your friends, this is a great opportunity, folks. It's a great opportunity to make some money, a lot of money, bring it back to Nigeria, build your communities up in Nigeria. It's a good cultural activity, a cultural opportunity. But more importantly, those American kids will benefit from your experience, because you got to remember, America is in the Western Hemisphere. We only have two countries that we're connected to, Canada and Mexico, right? Canada is just America Part 2, and Mexico is America Part 3 that speaks Spanish. So we don't have a lot of diversity over there in the Western Hemisphere. So American kids, unlike other kids around the world, don't get a chance to interface with people who are not American. So you will actually be doing a huge benefit and changing children's perspective, because you may be one of the only non-Americans that a child may have interface with, and that's huge. So so it's a win-win for everyone. God bless everyone on this call. I wish you guys a safe journey, and I wish you guys the best in life, regardless if you go through this program or not. I'm here for you. And again, spread the word. Let your friends know about this. This is a good thing. With that, if there's no other questions, I'm going to sign off.
All right.
Okay. Hello, sorry, excuse me.
Yes.
Sorry, one last question. Okay, is it possible to know, or maybe just have a breakdown of all the costs we'll have to incur in the process, we'll have to pay, so we can just have a breakdown and then start planning towards that as well?
Yeah, I think Mr. Ibrahim is going to be responsible for that, for distributing that breakdown for you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. God bless everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Assalamu alaikum.